Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Apologies for the early one. This is the BBC Spews Live. Huzzah! It's the 31st of May. Brilliant. Unfortunately, I've got to go and pick my missus up, and then I've got a train journey, and I've got to go travelling again. So I'm not going to be around much next week. However, I thought I'd squeeze one in just before I leave. Not squeeze one out. Definitely not doing that on a stream. Here we are. The problem with this, the first story I wanted to talk about is on the Daily Mail website. And if you try and do anything on the Daily Mail website, it cripples you with ads. It's the worst. It's the worst website on the internet for unending spam. Look at it. Can't do anything without robots popping up. It seemed that wasn't too bad. Maybe that's the best. Anyway, we'll read that. I hope all you're doing well. Who's in the chat? Let me have a quick look. Who's in early? Matty Nungwankbo's in. My Nigerian alter ego. Grasshopper, how you doing? Now then? Not right wing, just right, obviously. Ams, how you doing? Now then, Joe, thanks for watching. Grasshopper, who else? Danny Ashton's in now then. Secky the Cats. Anyone else who's just popped up? Welcome, thanks for coming. Lots to talk about this week. It's been a bit mad, hasn't it? First things first, why did the bloke who drove through a crowd in Liverpool on all of his mugshots look like Jason Statham, but when he was in court, looked like Kevin Keegan? I don't get that. That's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit of fuel for the conspiratorial types. So that was weird. Don't understand it. This story here, right? This was covered on the Daily Mail, and everyone was grokking it to make sure that it wasn't lies. Turns out to be true, right? I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I can make it a little bit bigger. Hang on. There we are. So a ban on child marriage has been deemed not becoming of a regular at Allen's snack bar by the religious leaders in everybody's favourite absolute cesspit. It says, and this is true, it has been verified, it says it was criticised by the prominent council for being not becoming of these gentlemen who follow everybody's favourite religion of many, many, many pieces. Pakistan's government last week passed the child marriage restraint bill. So this is, I'm just putting it out there, right? If the British government suddenly got rid of all the laws on the books to suggest it was all right to rod your 10-year-olds, I'm going to just put this out there and say that, as in so many things, which is why I have such a small government libertarian attitude towards the law, I'm going to suggest that it wouldn't suddenly become commonplace for bricklayers and plumbers and window cleaners to just routinely start rogering 10-year-olds or marrying them. I'd suggest that society would police it, as we already know that it does. It's certainly in our culture. Because you all know this, I've talked about this before, when you're in secondary school in the UK, you leave at 16, or you did, I believe it is 18 now, isn't it? But when I was a lad and everyone left school at 16, there'd always be one bloke. There was only one I could think of who used to still be seeing a lass in school. There was a lad in my hometown called Todd, and he'd left, and he had a car, which was a big thing when you're 17, innit? Well, we were 16. I think he was like 18. I think he was 2 years older than her. And he was going out with a lass who was in 5th year of school. So we all used to call him Cradle Snatcher and Charlie Chester, the child molester, and stuff like that, because this stuff polices itself. In the UK, it's perfectly legal for a 30-year-old man to rattle a 16-year-old girl, because 16 is the age of consent, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, does it? You never walk out of secondary school when you're 15, 16 and see 35-year-old men just picking the girlfriends up. It's not something we do because we have a respectful, decent, not degenerate society, or we always did. So the fact is that it's a savage, barbarous place and culture where you need to enforce these laws. So they're getting slated because they're getting rid of this, because they've introduced this child marriage restraint bill, which aims to put an end to minors being forced into marriages with adults. And you can get up to 7 years in prison and a fine of £2,600 on charges of statutory diddling. And they're all pissed about it, which of course they are. Look at this, it continues. The Council of Allen's Ideology, a prominent body that advises the government of the majority nation whether or not a certain law is repugnant to the obvious, has opposed the bill. They said in a statement published Tuesday, declaring marriage below the age of 18 as a child abuse and other controversial provisions are not in line with our injunctions. Overall, the council rejected the bill. Yes, and this is the pertinent point I want to make before we talk about something else. Of course they did. And I've said this so many times. When you get British politicians, I think David Starkey made the point very capably back when Amber Rudd was having a pop at them about something. He was like, their religious book claims to be the pure, unfiltered, unedited word of God, right? Literally transcribed over a period of 13 years by being whispered into his ear by the angel Gabriel. That's what they believe. Who do you think they're going to pay attention to? The current Home Secretary or the literal word of God? If I believed in the literal word of God, I wouldn't listen to the Home Secretary anyway. They've got no credibility. They change them every 5 minutes in the UK. There's no way you can tell me that these people are interested in living that lifestyle. So this is just more evidence that we're importing an overtly hostile culture. And Paul Joseph Watson made a great video about this because he showed a clip of, I believe Voice of Wales did it first. It was footage of the incident in Liverpool and all the people who responded with laughing emojis, and there's hundreds of them, and they're all from, well, you can tell because the names are all written in squiggles. That's basically, you can tell where they're from. If the name's written in squiggles, yeah, they're usually regulars at Allen's, aren't they? So that's obvious. That's obvious. Totally hostile people. And this is who we're importing in vast quantities. So brilliant idea. Love that. As for this Leicester incident, I've already been told about that. I already Googled it. Let's have a look. What wasn't as many casualties, was there? But funny old thing, BBC aren't interested. If you type it in on Google, you just get like Birmingham Live and Ham High and The Telegraph, which is interesting, right? Because they're one of the only sort of centrist publications. There's no... The BBC don't want to talk about it, which tells you everything you want to know. Because when a bloke looks like Jason Statham or Kevin Keegan, depending on how you catch him in the light, they'll tell you all about it, but they won't tell you about it in this instance. So it almost guarantees that the fellow who was driving in this instance looks like he needs a good scrub. I'll just leave it at that. Car rammed into pedestrians in the Midlands in the early hours on Saturday. 2 men and 2 women were injured. 3 were left seriously hurt, so 7. And there you go. But not on the BBC. So again, all part of the agenda, isn't it? Very peculiar. Here's a good funny that I found. How the tables have turned. Has anyone seen this? It's class because we've all seen the unending. I mean, I've been a victim of it myself last time I was home. Being on the tube and seeing someone rapping. It's cringe. Look at this. How the tables have turned. I love this. No audio. What? It was only a minute ago. I think it's my PC. I think it's my audio, not yours. Hopefully it's my audio and not yours. Here we go. I mean, although, who wants to listen to bagpipe? I suppose I do. If I have to choose between listening to a gangbanger banging on a bin lid and screaming, or this bloke, I'll listen to this ginger bloke.
Holy shit. I am proud to be a European. I will not show embarrassment to be a European, and I will continue to spread European culture.
Spreading European culture. You know, there was one last time I was going through LA on the metro. There was one doing it, and it's unbelievable. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, one of them, the lyrics to the song was, "Bitch, all you effing do is effing argue, bitch." And he was repeating that over and over and over again. And I was just sat there with my missus going, what is this? Like, has everyone lost the plot? How come they don't, like, an angry mob doesn't form when they start doing this type of stuff? So that was hoofing, give them a taste of their own medicine. But this is the difference. He'll get away with it with the Indians because they're nowhere near as chewy. But if he tried that in London in front of 50 of the people that tend to do the loud... I apologise, I'm on eggshells today. I got yet another ban. I had to take a bloody training off YouTube. They were like, "Oh, we're locking your account unless you do this training." And it's a joke. Because obviously, training... In fact, I can show you, look. I've now got another active strike on my channel, and my appeal was rejected because they just decided, like a week after the fact, that my Hills Have Eyes video was hate speech. Again, they've ruined the platform. One of the people I like watching on YouTube when I'm, being a viewer is the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he drops the F-bomb every 5 seconds, and he uses loads of amusing, sweary similes, and that could never have existed in this day and age. If he started that channel now, they would instantly ban it. The platform has been completely hollowed out. It is taking... Well, it's not really, because you don't have to do it. It's going through the motions, isn't it? I didn't even read the questions because you can't get them wrong. It gives you bullet points at the end. It's like Sanjid had an argument with Karen. It was kind of like an elementary school textbook. It was like, Karen's a bricklayer, Sanjid is a ballet dancer. Sanjid pushes Karen and she beats him. Someone puts this on video. Is this acceptable for YouTube? And if you put yes, this is fine, it goes, no, you got the wrong answer. You can't show that on YouTube. And then if you click the other one, it goes, yes, you got the right answer, continue. So you don't even have to read the questions. You just go bap, 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 and then you're done. But the point is, it's all arbitrary and it's all lies. Because this thing here about appeal rejected, it's lies. Like, there was nothing wrong with the video. I'm very careful to make sure there's nothing wrong with the videos these days, right? It was up for a week, and then someone's flagged it, and one of the social justice warriors at YouTube, who watches my channel, because they have been for years, took it as getting an excuse to instantly lock my account. And when I responded, it's comedy, it's mockery. There's a billion times worse than this on YouTube. So I'm saying about being arbitrary. I've seen Jimmy Carr doing some of his worst pedo jokes. Like, in his routine, there's loads of stuff that they turn a blind eye to. Or as I said, the Angry Video Game Nerd. But if they don't like your politics, they'll slam you for nothing. And then when you appeal, they say, appeal rejected, without even looking at it. Because the weird thing is, When I clicked appeal, normally they don't do anything or say anything. When I clicked appeal, it took about 4 minutes. Like about 4 minutes later, I checked my email and it said, "We have carefully reviewed your video and we have confirmed that unfortunately it definitely does violate our hate speech and harassment policy." I was like, it doesn't. Anyone with with eyeballs and ears can see that it doesn't. It doesn't. These are public mugshots that are years old, and I'm merely mocking their appearance for a laugh. There's 10,000 videos that are worse than that on the internet. So that's bollocks. So that's why I'm on eggshells. I'm not saying the M word, the I word, the Q word, the P word, the W word. I can probably get away with whoopsie, can't I? You've got to watch what you're doing when you're mocking people. If you've got the wrong politics. If a lefty wants to make a video about me, calling me every name under the sun and insinuating I'm a nonce, right? That's totally fine. But if I'm not a fat lass and she's got blue hair and a pussy hat on, they'll ban and delete my account and do what they've always done, which is shadow ban me and generally make my life a pain. Just be a massive pain up the arse. So yeah, that's that. I apologise. Find your way about Evening Boozers. Greetings from Bristol. Lilo, cheers. Thanks, Lilo. I'll put that in my Bookfast account. Sniper Side said Peter and Jane have been replaced with Mighty Mo. We know that, and Minge Eater. Typical. Yeah, we know the crack. So anyway, and thanks to Joe for gifting the membership to someone. That they come in handy. I think they're the only reason they haven't deleted the account. Genuinely, because as I said, ages ago, they'd have just deleted it, wouldn't they? They just used to put the ban hammer on you or ban you from posting entirely for 2 weeks. There was no trainings. And I'm presuming it's because they look at my account and go, "Oh, look, there's 150 people who give him $3 a month and we can take a percentage of that. So if we get rid of him, we're costing ourselves money." It might sound like a trifling amount, but I'm sure at the end of the day, these people, the bottom line's all that matters, isn't it? So that's probably the only reason that my account still exists. So yeah, there you go. Wankers. It's pronounced Lilo, Buddha. Just saying. I know you're from the borough, where pronunciation goes to die. That's true, it does. You've all seen the amusing BBC. I haven't shown it for a couple of years, so I might put it back on for you. You've all seen the amusing video of the ridiculously condescending. Oh God, I hate it. I'll put it on for you though, because it's funny. This is what I'm saying though. I hate it because they do it on purpose. They love taking the piss out of us. This is where the north-south divide comes in, because they love taking the piss out of us. This video only exists because Southerners love mocking the northeast. Whenever the sports channels interview a Borough fan, it's always the thickest bloke they can find. They don't find anyone who looks like me. They stand outside the Riverside Stadium watching toothless mutants and munters and look for the ugliest, thickest one they can find and go, put him on. You know what I mean? All the normal people like me and like the vast majority of my friends, not going to say all of them, a couple of munters in there, they don't talk to them. They wait until there's an absolute swamp donkey or a mutant bloke walking past who's got his ears grown out of his neck and he's got an head like a 50p piece, and they go, "Oh, do you want to talk to us about the Middlesbrough match, sir?" And then they put the cat loving it, putting the camera on him, and he's like, football, and drooling. And they're like, "Yeah, here we are on the streets of Middlesbrough." And this is the other one that pissed me off. Look, this is the BBC in the borough. Look at this.
But some in Middlesbrough won't have it. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. No, it's tomorrow. Butter. Listen, butter. That's it. Say again.
That's it. Like he's got a banana dispenser and he's training a chimpanzee to, I don't know, press buttons on a typewriter or something. And then this is the best bit.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Standard English on the streets of Teesside. Together, we can do this. Damon Green, ITV News in Middlesbrough.
That's the best bit, right? Everyone in the comments was like, you can tell he's in Middlesbrough because he moonwalks away. Yeah, because he thinks he's going to get shivved. He thinks it's all an elaborate con. Why is this posh bloke want to talk to me about pronunciation? And then he thinks he's going to get a shank in the back and they're going to take his watch and his wallet. So he walks away, look. He walks away like he's shitting himself. Like, oh yeah, hang on. What's he? Yeah, all right. Yeah. He's getting a safe distance away so he doesn't get a knife between his kidneys. That was the cut version. That's a short version. There's a longer one with a load of kids on there saying, I want to learn how to talk like I'm not mental, which is good of them. Honesty and Truth said, all farming allowances being reduced. We are all elderly, so selling to neighbours who will continue to farm. Oh my God, Starmer is I can't put it to work. Oh, I can, because I pronounced his name, and that means I can use my clip again. Starmer is allow me.
Ha! Gay!
There you go. I did it for you. I can't put it. That is shocking, though. Selling it to neighbours. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to always look on the bright side. When the wankers come for you, you've got to just keep your chin up, haven't you? So, sentimental value, but if you're old, bank the money, read the paper. You don't want it. Farming's hard work. You don't want to be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and catch a chicken or something. It's got to look on the bright side, but it does suck. The government is shocking. The government are just actively hostile in every way. But again, you know this. You know from the Chagos Islands. You know from the farm taxes. You know from the benefits allowances. You know from the billions they're giving away to foreigners every month. You know from the legal system. You know from Lucy Connolly being treated like a serial diddler. And you know from serial diddlers with a tan walking away from the crimes. It's ridiculous. The government's just overtly hostile at this point. Richard Westy said, Southerners only drink shandy, don't they? Yes, they do. Yeah. All with a limp wrist. Find Your Way Band said, it comes from a place of love, Mr. Bootneck. My wife is a northern lass, thick as mince, but 100% genuine. All right, Chase. Cheers, mate. I think. Ragnar says butter. It's not butter, it's butter. Butter. If you pronounce it the way they do, it sounds like there's 3 T's in it. I've had this out with the Americans. Loads of them have said to me, oh, you guys don't pronounce, because I'll say water. I'll go, sure as a glass of water. And they go, what? And you're like, water. What? Water. And they're like, oh, you mean water. And I'm like, you say it like it's got 3 T's and two or 3 R's in it, don't they? Water. It hasn't got that many T's and R's in it. It's water. I don't care what you say. 1 T and 1 R. Water. It's not water. And the H, you don't pronounce the H, because if you pronounce the H, it's like you've got halitosis. You know, if you say hello, mate, you don't go hello, mate. It's like the halitosis kid. You know what I mean? If I overpronounce my H's now, I sound like I've got halitosis. And that is the weird thing. The Yanks say herbs, even though it's got an H in it. So, yeah, I say herbs as well. But I never pronounce my H's, so I'm not spelling it wrong. They spell it with an H, and they overpronounce the H's. Oh, hello there. Look at that gentleman's hat. But then when they come to herbs, they go, Frieda Herbs, like it's Bob Marley talking. It makes no sense to me, that. Told me missus that one. I'm like, how come you pronounce your H's all the time? Then when you want some herbs, all of a sudden you sound like Bob Marley. It's a lot more pronounced when you're a Yank. I don't fully understand that one. Frieda Herb. Northerners don't usually pronounce the T's because they usually don't have any front teeth. Yeah, maybe that's why, yeah. Got kicked out in the scrap. Mephisto says it is butter, you bloomin' foreigners. Yeah, butter. Richard Wesley sent me a £5. Definitely not for shandy, so Richard Wesley's from Aberdeen. He's not a southerner. Or maybe he is. If he's from Aberdeen, it's a Buckfast. Smash the hoose juice. Anyway, what other stories did I want to talk about? There's a few good ones popped up. I just retweet them on Twitter now. It's a good way to keep them all. But anyway, just to finish, to round out the one I was talking about there, this is the point I want to make. So we're importing overtly hostile savages. It's on purpose. The government hates you. They hate the farmers. They hate you. They hate the legal system's a joke. It's obvious. We keep commenting as if Rachel from accounts has her way. We won't have any money at all shortly, so we'll enjoy supporting channels. Well, I mean, you've got to not pay your TV license, so you can save whatever money you would have spent on your TV license for YouTube, can't you? Because you're definitely not going to be. If you've got any sense, you're not paying your TV license. It's unbelievable. Absolutely, they openly support terror. I told you this dawned on me about 15 years ago. So I wasn't on YouTube at the time. I wish I'd started back then, but I was well into watching it. You know, I was watching Sargon back in the day, back in York, about 15 years ago before I moved out here. And that was when I realised the BBC was overtly hostile and I stopped paying me TV license. I was like, it's not happening. I'll unplug it. I unplugged it from the wall and I only used it to play my computer on. So I was cautious. If anyone came round, I could have just said, yeah, come on in. It's not plugged into anything. The proper scumbags. It's easy to dodge if you're like us and you just go on YouTube. It's a piece of piss. You just don't plug it into the wall. And then on the million, so I'll talk about it for a couple of minutes because I want everyone to not pay the TV license, right? Ragnar, yeah, there you go. Ragnar hasn't paid for so long, he doesn't even know it exists. Oh, Sadwing's gifted another 20 memberships. There you go. That'll help me with my appeals process. Thanks, Sadwings. Cheers, mate. So basically, Sadwings actually find this funny because it's so ludicrous to an American to explain out loud. In England, they charge you for a TV license because they tax the plums off you. They tax you till your plums ache because they're scumbags. And essentially, you pay the government. It's quite a lot for a TV license now. Let me have a look. How much is a TV license? UK. £174.50 a year. Look at that, £174.50 a year. Right. So, and they say if you watch any live broadcasts, that's the caveat, right? If you watch any live broadcast, you have to pay your TV license. So this is what I'm telling you. This is Bootneck quick because there's YouTube videos about it. But I did my research, so I'll give you the gist of it. Right. So all you have to do is, first of all, I've been reliably informed that it's almost impossible for them to get a warrant unless they have a lot of evidence. Like they have to have a video, like you're daft enough to leave your front curtains open, and they have a video of you watching the news or something in order to get a warrant. So you can do what I did, which is literally just tell them to, I believe the term I used was lick my festering left one. I think that was the term I used, but you can use any parlance of your own choosing. You can tell them to please leave if they call or knock on your door and say, can we come in and check that you're not watching live broadcast? Only way to actually get in is if they get a warrant. It's a laborious process. So first things first, don't be daft enough to leave your curtains open and give them any excuse. Secondly, always tell them, waste the time, maybe that's a good one. Ask them random questions, argue with them for half an hour, make their life difficult, tell them to suck your nuts, whatever you want. And then the third and most important thing, and this is to avoid it, don't have it plugged in at all and never have it tuned, because I've heard stories that if they're coming in, they'll literally, your TV's not plugged into an aerial because you don't watch live TV, but they'll bring their own aerial and stick it into the telly and stick it in the wall. And if it goes to a channel straight away, they'll go, oh, well, that's proof you've been watching live broadcasts. So you don't even tune it. I had a 32-inch HD screen and I used to play my computer on it on a big desk and watch YouTube. So I was clear anyway. But if you're taking the slash, just be clever about it. And all you have to do is just don't plug it in, don't tune it, and just not play the game at all. And just don't let them in. Don't play ball. You don't pay your TV license. If you pay your TV license, you're committing an act of treason because you're paying for the destruction of your own country and the propagandation of your own people and the obscuring of diddlers and groomers. So it's immoral. It's immoral to pay your TV license. So don't watch live TV. Don't even plug your telly in, and just don't play the game. Easy. It's easily done. And we didn't watch TV. I just watch YouTube all the time. It's way better. You can watch whatever you want. Whatever you want. I love YouTube. I've been a YouTubeophile for 15 years. It's fantastic. I follow loads of good people on here, but even other than the politics stuff, there's loads of good comedy. Independent comedians that post good stuff. I like watching barges and houseboats. I like just typing in canal life, and you watch old couples sailing the boat around, getting pissed. I love doing that. Sometimes if I'm homesick, I'll type in like pub crawl UK, and you get people going on the piss in London and documenting it all. And there's loads and loads and loads of good stuff on YouTube. So you don't need to give them the government money to lie to your children to promote Asian diddlers, right? So definitely don't. Definitely don't. It's immoral. It's immoral. You're doing a disservice to your country if you do it. Back to this one. This is an irrefutable point. The only people doing Alan's snack bar any justice are people who live by it, and almost everyone don't live by it. And do you remember when that guy stabbed a load of people in London a few years ago and started shouting about Alan's snack bar, and it went viral because some bloke leaned over the thing and went, "You ain't no regular, bruv. You ain't no bruv." And it went viral. "You ain't no M-word, bruv." Went like viral because that became the story. An imported religious zealot started trying to murder people on the train, and the story became, "Oh, you definitely ain't one of them, bruv," in it. And he was one. He's one of the only ones who was one, because he reads the book every day, and he prays 5 times a day, and he goes to the Golden Bell End Church every Friday, and he's got a big beard, and he doesn't eat pork, and he doesn't drink alcohol, and he doesn't gamble, and he thinks it's acceptable to poke a 10-year-old. These are the only ones who are doing it, who are, bruv, are the devout ones. And that's what I've said there, look. They always do this. You meet some bloke, a Guardian reader, after another atrocity where they kill a load of kids, and they go, "Oh, no, this is nonsense." No, they're not even practitioners. They're not even regulars at Alan's Snack Bar. My mate Desi's a regular at Alan's Snack Bar, and he's lovely, and he's super chill, and he drinks, and he smokes, and he goes to the bookies, and he's super integrated, and he's actually an out homosexual, you know. Well, then he isn't, is he? This is the upside down world we're living in. When a bloke prays 5 times a day and shouts about Alan's Snack Bar 24/7, and he always has the book on him, and he's sat there reading it all the time like it's the most engrossing thing in the world, and not an absolute pile of shite, plagiarised illiterate shite from the Bronze Age. When he does it all, he isn't. He definitely isn't one. He definitely isn't one. No, he isn't. But you know who is one? The bloke who drinks and smokes and gambles. And if Ayatollah Sistani got his hands on him, he'd probably strangle him to death. It's the definition of irrational. So anyway, rant over. Oh my God, you went out with a snack bar bird for a while. Took a dress shopping, and she asked me if her bomb looked big in this. All right, I've heard that one before. The old ones are the best. I was questioning your judgment in Girlfriends there. I'm hoping the entire thing was a joke rather than just the punchline. Mark Dryden, did you see the YouTube video about Lucy Connolly saying it was fake? I haven't seen that. What was fake though? Like, seems like the tweet's public knowledge, and she's definitely in jail. So I don't know what aspect of it's fake. Honestly and True said, Gordon the Gopher certainly knew something. The poor little creature in the cupboard, in the name of all holy, shut down the BBC and the Lords in Parliament for different reasons. Not for different reasons. Not for different reasons, really, is it? Because Gordon was getting fingered, and all the kids who've had any interactions with the Lords are getting fingered. So it seems like there's actually a lot. There's a lot in common between those two statements, isn't there? Gordon was and it was Philip Schofield, wasn't it? Everyone used to joke about Philip Schofield fingering Gordon. Turns out it was true. So those who were taking the slash out of Philip Schofield were surprisingly prophetic. And yeah, there you go. Right, we'll do one more story because I'm going to have to go and pick my missus up. Let's have a look. What else did I cover this week? Oh, yeah. That one. Because I love that. Anna Soubry. How much of a pain up the arse is Anna Soubry? Anything that she doesn't like, I love, is the short version. She's an absolute weirdo. And the worst thing is, I've told you this before, the worst thing about Anna Soubry is she got people jailed simply because they called her names. She was kind of the start of it. Like she started this whole thing. Essentially, she was calling everyone who doesn't agree with her, everyone, the whole British general public, anyone who voted for Brexit, she was calling and November Alpha Zulu India, and that's what caused. It was in the UK. It was one of the biggest causes of this this issue where the whole political debate just turned into name calling, and I think of all of them, she's another one on my list who stalked my ire because she's just disgracefully hypocritical. She was calling everybody names, insulting everyone, calling anyone that'd listen a November Alpha Zulu, and then when James Goddard got a load of his mates together after she'd been doing it for months, when James Goddard got a load of his mates together and they gave her as good as they were getting, all of a sudden, you can't call people that. And she actually got him locked up. I think the charge that got him on eventually was like harassment or something. But basically, he got locked up for doing what she did for months. And he was only talking about her because she was ignoring people's wishes to vote. And she got him locked up for it. I know a lot of people probably don't remember that one. But as I said, I've got a long memory for this type of stuff. That was exactly what happened. She poisoned the well. She started this detestable, down this detestable road of just instantly slurring everybody who disagrees with your politics. And then as soon as the working classes gave her some back, she had them locked up. So I believe he lives in Thailand now because obviously, well, I would as well. If you know you're on the government's list, if you've got any sense, you get out, don't you? And James Goddard, whatever you think of him, didn't deserve what happened to him. He's entitled to his opinion. All he was doing was insulting politicians. Who doesn't want to insult out a British politician? They're the worst type of scum. So in a free country, maybe that's one of the earliest examples, actually, of people of the authoritarian British state. But it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? It's probably the first example of the British state locking people up for insulting politicians. So, yeah, anything that pisses Anna Soubry off is definitely good news. And I'll have to comment underneath, look, ha, 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 another Brexit benefits Zelda. Because yeah, she looks like Zelda from Terrorhawk. That's going to be my next clip. I've got one of Starmer. Obviously, you know I've got the one because I have to press it every time I say his name. I've got the one of Starmer.
Gay!
And now I'm going to get a good one of, what's her name? Anna Soubry. I'm going to clip a nice one of Zelda because that'll be perfect. I think there's a good one of her laughing, isn't there? Someone sent me that. I think I mentioned it once before and someone sent me the Zelda from Terrorhawk's laugh. Because she's a pop model of Anna Soubry, look. Her there. Pop model. That's Anna Soubry. It's uncanny. Especially there. That's class. I'll have to clip it there. Because there we are, that's Zelda. That's Zelda laughing when she got James Goddard sent to prison. So that's getting clipped next. That's going to be my next bit of media. Zelda. That was her when she found out Goddard's in prison. Anyway, I think I'll have to do one. I've got to go and pick my missus up. Sorry, I am distracted about shit going on here. Right, so basically I'm out for a week. I've got to go travel. I've got to go to Cape Canaveral and a few other places. When I get back, I'll make sure I cut that into a thing, and I might do a stream. Maybe I'll be back early enough Sunday. I'm out there Monday through Wednesday, and I'm going to Kenosha Thursday, Friday. Saturday, I think I'm flying back. I'll probably be back for a stream on Sunday. So yeah, 8 days. I'll see you in 8 days. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for gifting all the super chats and especially the memberships, because that might keep the censors off my balls for another 2 weeks. And I think I'll have to start an alternate channel soon, won't I? Because I've drawn their ire again. Right. Thanks for everything, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'll do my best to stick around. And final one there, that's Macron's miss. Yeah, that's also a good one. Macron's misses. Probably got a slightly... I think Subaru's got a slightly more craggy face, though, to be honest. Because I guess it's all the hatred. All right. Macron's missus got a lot of testosterone, so it keeps you looking young, that, like me. All right, see you all later. Toodle pip. Cheers.